Hi, this is Debbie. Welcome back to Cheyenne, Wyoming Urban Gardener. This is Gardening Zone 5A, 5B. That was my grandson you just saw in the frame. And what you're seeing right now is we're getting everything cleaned up. We are doing some tilling right now, getting the garden all cleaned up here. Got it back nice and lined. I just got to put some fence back. You can see the fence right there. That was the fence I put in last season. And I have to let the tiller in to the garden unless we lift it over. So that's where we went in, and I'll have to move all this soil back into the garden area. And yes, there is a wire there. It is not hooked up to anything, and it's actually been broken for a long time. It's actually been rewired, and this wire has not been removed as yet, but I think we're just going to get ready to do that and get that all on out of there because it's not hooked up to anything. We've checked, and we had electricians out here, and they rewired everything into these boxes. So there's two separate connections between the house and the garage. So we just need to get that pulled out of there. But anyway, nice and cleaned up. Garden all nice and done. We are sorting and organizing a bunch of stuff, even though it looks like a whole bunch back on the cement. That is because we are organizing it, and we're getting ready to put a gutter on the end of the house here, so I had to pull that down. And I don't till in front of where my trellises are here. This is the trellises for the beans. And I don't till right here because it's just a little bit too narrow. I would have to pull up all of the trellises, and this old bed frame here will not come out of the ground anymore. We actually sledgehammered it in 8 years ago, and I think it has just basically attached itself with a vengeance because we cannot get it pulled up at this point. We actually had some strong supports beams that we put in there, so you can see that it is actually very tightly in there. And so we don't remove that. We just go in and use a hoe with this and dig down, and then we've got some leaks right here that we don't want to tear up. So there's that. But look at that beautiful, rich soil. It's only been amended one time ever. And I do have to pause because we have landscapers here today, and they're cleaning up our whole rest of the yard that we have. So you can see here, I've got the tiller out there. I've already tilled all of this area that I can get to. There's some of it I can't get to. We'll have to do that by hand. But for the most part, it's all nice and tilled, and look just how fluffy and nice and rich this soil is. And there are so many worms in this. And I do try to, if I see a worm, avoid it. And I'll just make sure to not tear it up or anything like that. So we have loads and loads of worms in here. Nice, fluffy, dark, rich soil. Amended it one time with black cow compost. That's just basically cow manure that has been aged, and some bags of potting mix, and some mushroom compost as well in some areas, but not in all areas, because mushroom compost can work with some things but not with everything. So you have to be real careful about how you use it. So loving that we're getting that all done. We still have some piles of debris here that we're getting ready to get up, but for the most part we've gotten our yard all cleaned up. Gonna do some edging through here, but just nice rich soil. There's my tiller again, and you can see just how deep it goes down. We do like to go down to about 8 to 10 inches, sometimes deeper, depending on if we're using it for potatoes or carrots, things like that. And I do mound my carrots up so we get softer soil. And my rutabagas and turnips and things like that, they always get into mounded up rows, so that way they have plenty of fluffy soil to grow into. But nice and fixed there, and I have to fix back the fence here, so I had to allow the tiller into the garden, so we've got a stretch of fence there that we need to put back. We did all of that in a matter of just a couple of hours, and you can see our walkways are all nice and cleaned up here. We've got a couple of piles over here in this section. I'm going to be bringing the tiller over into here. We're not finished with this part. We're going to till the strip all the way around. Oh, and it's trying to blur for some reason. We're going to till this all the way around and get this prepared for planting. You can see my rhubarb is up right now. And already getting some stalks on it. And unfortunately, I had to tear the leaves up a little bit because we were doing some raking in here. So that's all nice and cleaned up. And we still have, looks like, some flower beds over here to get some sticks and stuff out of. And just a little bit more to do to get this all cleaned up nice and neat. So that's what we're working on today, is just getting the garden all tilled and ready to go. We're going to have about 4 or 5 days of cold weather. And then it looks like after that we will start warming up again. And that will be most likely when I will plant my potatoes and my peas and some of my cold hardy crops. So the peas will be going here along the trellis as they did last season. And I've actually got another set of trellises that I'm going to put in here as well. Now peas, you only have to plant in rows that are just a couple of inches apart, and you can keep succession planting them every couple of inches apart, and you just keep having more peas and more peas. So I'm going to put another set of trellises not very far from this one so I can run my peas up on, and that's what we're doing. And of course we're still preparing to move whenever that happens. So we're planting the garden here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and if we have enough time and we get moved before June, we'll be planting again wherever we're going. So like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notices on new videos as they come out, and we'll see you in the next one.